Welcome to the Forward Movement Podcast. I am Renee Jean Lemieux, and this season is the fourth season dedicated to the poets. May the poets be heard as they speak and share and love and breathe. Today, I am blessed to welcome on Ava Delaney, who is a wave of peace and grounded essence that you may not know you needed to receive. Ava, welcome, welcome, welcome. And my question for you is, how has the act of forward movement transformed your life?
Thank you for having me today and for that beautiful introduction. It's always so powerful to hear how you're received by others, like peace and groundedness. And I'm just so grateful to be received like that by you. How has forward movement, it feels like the only way, even when I don't know why I'm thinking of like a spiral. Like as a wheel turns, there's actually like a part of the wheel that goes back in its cyclical nature. And as a woman, I feel deeply connected to my cycle and deeply connected to the spiral of life that we like return to old parts of ourselves even as we move forward and heal them. But I always feel like a light at the end of the tunnel, something calling me forward, something pulling me into a new version, into a new reality, into a new project or process. And so I always try to look out for what that is as much as I can.
Do you have a first memory of you at any age where you've listened to the pull forward?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, my parents got divorced at a very young age. I was 4.5 when my parents were divorced. And I feel like from that point on, I noticed that change is the only constant in my life and in our world. Like even I'm thinking about the like difference between the summer, where you travel in the summer and then the school year, and it always felt like there was not a lot of places in my life besides within me that I could like plant my 2 feet. That change and movement were always happening. And so I think I just accepted that. Like I remember being a kid and just really like accepting divorce and accepting change and accepting the shifts that would occur. And that's always caused me to like seek out the new, and co-create that as much as I can.
And did that essence within you of always reaching out for that which is change and the constant, is that something that is within you always, or did you have family and mentors and relations that supported you in that, or a mixture?
I think it was always within me, even to a detriment. Like, even when something is really good and worth recommitting and redevoting to, like, I'm always like, oh, is there something better? you know, Looking for the forward move and looking for the evolution. And so I'm actually in a period right now where I'm like, the evolution, the forward movement, the redevotion and recommitment to the longer term projects, the longer term relationships is worth it and is forward movement. It's not stagnation. I think I had that limiting belief where I was like, to stay, to not change is to stagnate. And I don't want to believe that anymore. I want to evolve even in long term, projects and commitments and everything. Yeah.
And in this process of committing to the long term and identifying that this essence of change within you is so very natural, that not all humans, all souls dressed as human, are born with that native, authentic tool and skill. With that being ingrained within your cells, and now you're saying yes and devoting to a longer stretch of the relation and the project and the creativity and the vision, are you finding yourself like itchy in your skin? Or are you like, oh, I think I can do
Hmm.
this? Yeah.
It's a dance. Yeah, it's a dance. But I do. The itchiness in my skin, I'm noticing how to not uh, just reject that and that mean that it's bad, and to inquire deeper about why am I feeling this? What actually needs to shift within this? That doesn't mean I need to throw it all away, but how can I, sweep the floors of whatever is going on here and just plant my roots a little bit deeper where I am. Yeah, but it's a
Celebrating you.
dance. Thank you.
And it's such a
Yeah.
beautiful reminder, Eva, of how we all have our own textures of dances within. And for
Mm.
what comes really natural to one is like the itch to the other. And then what's the itch to the other is like, oh my gosh, I could do that in my sleep, point blank.
Mm.
I am so excited. So you've mentioned the word like the change a few times, and I would love to dive in. I've been holding it back. I'm like, well, I think there's something, yeah. So open up on this.
Mm.
Hmm.
So The Change is my album that I released in June, the end of June. And it's so fascinating how it weaves its way through conversations anyways, like how we just experienced. Like, it's just such a huge theme in my life. And yeah, it's a project that I produced and created all the original songs with my partner at home in our Brooklyn apartment pretty much over the course of a year, but really focused like a month of, daily devotional creation of this music. And it's a collection of songs that I have sensed their frequency and sensed their willingness to be birthed through me for so long. So to have the living, breathing, tangible proof that they exist is such I'm so stoked about that. It's like for so long I've been visualizing and, affirming and calling in who I want to be as an artist. And this feels like a real project that I can just actually show the world and feel like I am who I say I am. I'm walking the talk that has been living in my internal world for so long. So it's been huge. Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself in this? Especially in that month container where it was like daily, daily, but outside of that as well too.
I have learned so much. I can learn that I can do hard things that, I mean, it's certainly like similar to what we've been talking about already, like that just because something is uncomfortable or a growth edge doesn't mean you have to be. I've noticed how overwhelmed of fear I can get in these moments, even though I'm in a safe container, a safe environment. So it's been really powerful to lean into these edges of my comfort zone, just my musicianship, my truth telling of my own inner world. Like there's been so many growing pains, and and I've learned that, yeah, that I can do it, that I can do it. That's really simple. Like it's really, yeah, just that. Like, and I am excited for what comes next. I don't really have a good sense of that right now, which is exciting. Um, that it's will come in when it's ready to.
What
Yeah.
did you have to let go of to be able to move forward in this space of discomfort and fear, knowing that your body is safe in that moment?
Hmm. Letting go of the belief in my emotional stories that the voices and panic and, you know, colors of I'm not enjoying this, that isn't always the truth for me. And that the truth is something far greater than that, which is, that's a passing wave, that's a passing state. And the quicker I can recognize that and breathe through it and return to a resourceful state, the better work that I'm gonna do. I think I used to really believe that I need to be really. It's interesting because writing a song is very different than producing a song. The emotional state and the subconscious opening that is required to be in a state to write a song feels way more welcoming to, and it feels like very natural to me, where I'm just like riding this emotional wave, and the poem is coming through, and it aches and it burns, and there's words that I don't really need to know what they mean, and it's very cathartic, very emotive. And so that part of it feels very natural. It comes very natural to me. And so the challenge was, that's not very conducive to when you're having a 10-hour studio day. It's like, and so to learn to like just see beyond that moment to moment drama and just tap into a deeper maturity of like showing up to the work, the co-creation, this partnership, my partner as a producer, and being a good teammate. Like that's been a big journey for me. Yeah.
It so leads me to wonder how many souls feel uncomfortable and not safe with their inner masculine.
Mm-hmm.
When because I really relate with the artistry of any moment. Any moment I'm in the flow of writing the words or speaking the words without knowing what I'm speaking, or moving my body to the music or to the silence in the head or on the rock or in the mountain, I am the most like, oh my gosh, I am a fractal of God in form.
Mm-hmm.
And then we enter a space of the structure and the initiation and the action of sustaining, organizing so that it can be delivered. And that space really is like, ooh, can I do that? Ooh, am I good here? Am I good here? Can we do this? Like that pattern in the mind. And do you feel like there is a connection asking for like the masculine of the inner, not projecting outside saying the masculine needs to be fixed? That's not it. I'm saying begin with the inner essence. Is that something that you resonate with?
Absolutely. I feel like I'm renewing my model of what heart open, healthy, and rooted masculinity looks like within me.
Mhm.
Where it doesn't, like, I feel like I would swing from heart open, wild, spiraling feminine to then very closed, tense rigidity in masculinity, and that doesn't feel conducive to do work and to keep yourself open to spirit and to keep yourself open to creativity. And so it's like, how do we let that be anchored and still open is the question that I'm playing with. Yeah. But there
What's the
is work to
feedback
be
so
done.
far? What's your feedback on that?
Yeah, there's moments where I touch it so profoundly, where I do feel so in flow, in alignment with the work that needs to be done. And my partner does an amazing job of holding that frequency within himself as a masculine. Like he just has that spaciousness within him where there's almost this like untouchable love and nature that just, it's not reactive, it's not too tense, it's so kind and patient. And so that's taught me a lot. Yeah.
So cool. The testament
Yeah.
of the ones we choose to be in relation with, of how they're the ones that are supporting the remembering of all that we are in this perfect state in every single moment of every single day.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel we choose, partners who have things to teach us. We don't choose the person who's exactly like us. We have a lot to learn from each other, for sure. Uh, and it's such a gift to also co-create so much art with my partner. Like that's been such a huge love language for us, is to have this extra dimension of our partnership be like really a lot of co-creation, a lot of yeah, music. Yeah.
What surprised you about yourself in that relationship with your partner of the co-creating?
Of art specifically.
Mhm.
Hmm. I think I'm surprised by my stubbornness. Like I have my own, view of myself as an artist on my own, where I'm like, it's so easy for me, and it's so, I'm have this graciousness and blah blah blah, and all of that gets thrown out the window when we're together sometimes. And I observe how stubborn and how uh you know brutal I can be in my inner voice, and it's been deeply illuminating to be like, wow, you know, the mirror that I'm the best ever. I think I'm this God's gift of whatever. And then like the mirror gets held up. I'm like, wow, I have work to be done, which is such a gift, such a gift. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question on this. And with the stubbornness, do you think that it could be something that is just of you and nothing needs to change and just to be in that contrast of yourself? Or is it truly something that you're like, that can't be me?
Yeah, I think both. I think the work isn't for me. I'm only speaking for myself because I don't know. I don't have the answer at all. But I think the work isn't, I need to get rid of this, but rather stay, to not go dark when that happens, to not fall asleep and let that take over, and to keep my, my heart, my awareness, my inner essence alive in that moment when stubborn me, fiery me, feisty me, put her foot down me has something to say. I can do it with as much grace and consciousness and presence as possible, and not feel like, whoa, who the fuck was that? And why did she just speak through me? I'm just like, yeah, I think the work is less like, it's just integrating her so that she, yeah, is, but yeah, acceptance is a big part of that. I do feel like she has gifts, like the stubborn and passionate and opinionated version and part is so valuable because she has clarity and something to say, and I value that, so how do I get her to be in my center where I'm not like, whoa, where did
Whiplash.
she come from? Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But that's part of the dance, the parts work is really interesting. I'm feeling more and more, like there are so many, we do contain multitudes, like there are so many fractals and versions and ages and, you know, colors and beings within us. And I just kind of keep trying to redevote and recommit that the one steering the ship is the most connected to the divine, the most connected to love and truth and beauty and earth, and let go of the rest and see what all happens.
Because we're here to experience it all. And
mm,
you can still experience it all while being rooted in the mycelium of your soul.
mm.
Yeah.
You can actually experience it better, probably. Experience it more fully in that rooted place.
Yeah, to let it breathe and exhale through you and be the observer. When you're singing, do you
Mm.
ever have like out of body experiences of I'm actively singing and yet I see myself doing this?
I don't know if out of body experience. I don't think I've ever had an out of body experience, actually. Uh, but uh, uh, expanded, you know, perception, like altered states for sure. Like and just interesting, like somatic release. Yeah, so the observer, like the I am singing and I'm watching myself sing from deeper, and there's different planes going on a lot of the time. Yeah,
Mm.
it's interesting.
Do you feel like there's yeah, as and you touched upon it earlier of how you've had the texture and the sensation and the emotional expression of a song or songs
Mhm.
within you for so long, and
Mm.
then you allow it to come out and now it's a song itself. Do you feel that there is nuggets that are not lived through you but move through you in the songs that you share?
Can you explain deeper what
I
you
can
are
explain
asking?
deeper, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So in a take salon, for example, for my personal experience, I didn't have the lived experience of the share, but I connected with someone who told a story prior, but then all of a sudden the centerpiece of that story moved through me, and now the
Mm.
spoken word was not of me, was not a lived up experience, but something that just like exhaled out of me. And
Hmm.
with your songs, because your whole album, The Change, I was like, oh my gosh, I pinned that. I listened to the like from beginning to end. It's a journey of what I said, like the grounding and the exhale and like the comfort. And within those songs, are there any pieces that are not of you, but that moved through you?
Hmm. Probably. I've had the experience multiple times where words, lyrics will come through and it'll feel right and it'll feel maybe abstract, and then 2 years later I'll be singing it and be like, oh my god, this was the moment, this was why I wrote it. So it's like, I think there's a lot of like time bending that I'm doing,
Mm.
that that as a songwriter. But you know, maybe, like, who knows if some future me came in to deliver the lyric, or if as I wrote the lyric I was casting out a reality to be experienced in the future. But yeah, the way that lyrics evolve over time, like my first album, Everything, that I released in 2024, there were multiple songs in that project that I sang a lot over the course of, you know, the couple years. And it just, it the meanings changed every single time. It was so profound. And so, yeah, as I wrote it, it had one meaning, it had one experience, it had one reality, and then it just evolves like we do. They're like, the songs feel like living, breathing organisms of themselves. And I feel like I have maybe 40% to do with it because of the vocabulary and the experience that I have. And most of it is a gift. Like, it really does feel like something that comes in and asks to be birthed through me. Yeah.
It's so beautiful because there's no comparison in that way. One soul can be next to you and another soul can be next to you, and there's no like, I wish I could sing like Ava, or I wish I could speak like X, Y, and Z, or draw or paint or write poetry. There is nothing there because it just lives within. And the ask while being in form is, how open can you become to allow what lives in you to live outside of you?
Exactly. Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer that everybody's voice is the medicine that they need for their own body, whether that's your voice as your art, your voice as your poetry, your voice as your song. But there is something about the voice, like just the sound of your voice, even if you don't think it sounds good, something about singing to yourself, toning. I believe it is specifically designed medicine for our own bodies and souls. And I do teach voice lessons. I hold space for people to, I like to call myself a doula of
Ooh.
of your voice, because I'm helping you birth it. You know, I'm not here to teach you how to sing like me or teach you how to sing better, but to create an environment where you feel safe to open enough to let what is in you come through. And it's been so cool to watch it unfold so uniquely for each person. And but yeah, it's interesting too, because I have I have many different hats that I wear as a creative person. I have the singer-songwriter, mystic, poet side. And then I also have musical theater and acting and performing in plays and musicals, and they do feel like different skill sets. Like the catharsis and bliss and ease of a singer-songwriter, it's a lot more stamina, endurance, clocking into work when you're doing a musical and you have to show up 8 times a week to do this piece. It's like, sometimes I don't want to sing. I would rather rest. My voice feels tired and all of these things. So it's like learning how to have that health, how to have that care and, yeah, tenderness with your being, and health in your body that you can get through 3 months of shows. It's different worlds, but it's fun to dip my toes in both of them.
Has the skill sets that you've learned of how to persevere when you don't want to show up been a support in releasing the album
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
and recording?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm living at least this season of my life where I kind of have chapters, right? I'll have like a chapter of doing a musical, and that takes 100% of my energy and takes 100% of my time. And I have to go all in and be with that fully. And then I have 3 months of an off season and spaciousness where I'm auditioning and figuring out what's next. So to bring that same energy of going all in on the album, going all in on my solo project, because I know I almost have a limited amount of time that I can take this on before the next project starts. So yeah, it's helped me learn, yeah, this seasonality of the way my life is going, project to project.
And to know yourself so intimately as well, too. You know that you move best and most efficiently when you're focused only on this for the time being. And now you're only focused on this, where not all humans or souls are like that. I thrive best when I have it all at the same time. And when I'm
Mm,
able to move my energy through multiple different in one day so I can shower and bathe amongst all. That's how I'm
mm,
able to like continue. And it's a testament to how important it is to know the self so intimately and not be concerned of what the others are doing or how it works for them. Because
mm,
once that takes place, like you're even in the space, as you said, of really melding and becoming intimately in union with the feminine and the masculine within in the different way you've experienced before. And I wonder if one of the reasons is because you're honoring how your energy moves you best. So
mm.
now the heart is open and the womb is open to be like, you know, the energy moves best this way, and now pass off, and then come, and then pass
Totally.
off, and then come.
Totally. Yeah, I do feel like I've been on such a profound journey of what you just said, like the intimacy of my inner world and how to best take care of myself on, a year-long macro scale, like what a year looks like creatively to me. Which in a similar vein, it's like, yeah, like I want to do so many things. Like I have so many things that I want to do and tend to and write and create and be part of and collaborate, and so many more things that I am dreaming forward. And yeah, and that one at a time with copious amounts of rest in between, that I can fully die and decompose the old and then come back to the next project with like a full new cellular body and state is like the way for me.
Oh, you're like continuous Ava caterpillar, butterfly caterpillar, like
Yes,
caterpillar, butterfly.
exactly.
There's a butterfly. Oh,
Butterfly.
leap, like caterpillar leaps and
Mm,
then becomes butterfly.
totally. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm also, I mean, you mentioned human design on the intake
Oh,
form.
yeah.
And I have the 360 channel. I don't know about if you know about that one, but there's something about that channel that my friend Margot has emphasized to me, that we have, periods of stillness and then just total transformation, and to not rip off the skin in the still moments and be like, where's the transformation? Like to fully indulge and go there when the moments are asking to be still, because it will be inevitably a launch pad. And so, yeah, it's been like trusting that rhythm of like, wow, I feel like I need to rest for a couple days. I need to be in bed. I need to put my feet on the ground and think about nothing, and trusting my body in the process of that, because then the next week it's like, okay, boom, full on, we need you full time, we need your energy and your being. And yeah, it's a fun cyclical dance that I'm learning how to tend to.
Mm. It's so beautiful. It really is, of utilizing the systems that are available, not to define the self, but to really experiment, not even with the design. Notice yourself through the experience of being, and then see how that corresponds to the systems that relate with you. And human design just happens to be like a huge, yeah, I've been studying for years, and it completely shifted
Mm,
my trajectory. And now, especially when we create and co-create containers and rooms and houses such as this, I find knowing at least just the type and how the energy moves in that very specific way, because it's not all about the type, but I find it's really supportive in this relational dance that we are part
mm-hmm.
of on an ongoing scale, here together and then out in the world, and we just bopping along. And yeah. So you're a voice doula, and I right before today I recorded for my YouTube for my love letters people, and I only say that because of the fact that I'm recording. I recorded earlier the chanting of the chakras, and it moved through me, Ava. Like 2 days ago, I was like, oh, honey girl, this is for August. The beings in August, because it's all passion and pleasure. There's something about the chanting and the vocal that seeks to fill the space. And
Mm.
I used to really dislike the voice of my own. And then I experimented with it, and
Mm.
stories life experience happened. And now there's this like dropping of when I express through the voice and even breathe in asana practices. Every single time the instructor comes up to me and they're like, Renee, your breath. And I'm like, I know. Because it's
Mm.
not me. Like I wholeheartedly, it's outside of me moving through me. It's so guttural. I have such a deep voice. And I always
Mm.
thought I was off tune because
Mm.
when I sing in like the high pitch, I'm like, oh my God, like, turn it off, but the like the depth. And so I'm so curious of when you are dueling other individuals through their journey of the voice, what do you find is the most common stickiness to move through?
Mm. I think that, yeah, the idea of sounding good, the the ear deceiving you, my reframe and my perspective shift is always feel, how does your voice feel in your body to be expressed? How does your heart feel as it wants to move through your voice? How does your womb feel as it wants to move through your voice? How do the voices in your mind and your noise and your mental noise feel as you can cathartically express them through your voice? It literally is not about, like, sounding good is step 27. Like, the first steps are, where do I have cobwebs in what I'm allowing myself to express? And that goes beyond singing. That goes through speaking. Can I speak my truth? Can I speak with clarity and conviction and calmness? Can I speak with gentleness and soothingness, and just like expanding the color palette that we're playing with, and allowing that to be a somatic experience rather than observed and judged by the inner critic. Like, I am like trying to kill the inner critics, trying to kill the outer critics too, because somebody else going, hey, she sounds bad, whatever. It's like, okay, you try to sing, because I know for a fact that anybody who's actually in the ring and expressing their soul's truth, or trying something new for the first time, or is a master at their craft, is cheering each other on for trying, for being in the ring, And so I think we do live in a culture, especially with social media right now, where everybody has their critical opinion. Everybody has something to say, that this isn't right or this isn't good enough. And I just invite these people to do it themselves and see how hard it is, and see how brave you have to be to make sound, how unhelpful the opinionated mind is. But, and then that in the beginning of the journey, this inner critic is not helpful, the editor is not helpful, but there is something helpful about re-inviting the critic or the editor in at the end, if you want to refine your craft, uh, deliver a project that you feel very proud of. We're not just and publish. We have to bring it back in, but just not in the creating room, not in the birth room. Yeah.
Mm. And it
Rant
leads me to
over.
wonder, yeah, for sure, of how many souls begin a creative expression of their heart and then immediately have the critic in the room without first deeming themselves safe to be with their expression.
Totally. How do you even know it's gonna want to come through if they're holding the door closed like that? Like, you have to let it be ugly sometimes.
Mm. Oh, yeah. And that ugliness, sometimes I feel that that ugliness is really scariness dressed in ugly. It frightens the self or others when something is moving through that doesn't sound like the norm or the hype or the like
Hmm.
mainstream. And I wonder if it's connected to that inner authentic expression is just fear of, and I feel like since the beginning of the season it's all about belonging, but it is like it's the fear of not being belonging because is your voice going to belong? Or are you going to be shamed or deemed wrong by yourself or the other?
Mm,
And I feel like the belonging is really present
totally.
just in the space of Poems and Power and Chelsea Diane and everything that birthed through, and then Salon, like it's the first space I've ever truly, truly, truly felt an essence of belonging, of so much love. I'm like, what is going on here? And but it's the voice, every voice is received through the heart ears. And I do wonder, Ava, as you were sharing of how you see the red thread of patterning with your clients that you're dueling for, like supporting in that journey. And in that red thread, do you feel that wherever the body has cobwebs for the vocal is simply mirroring their soul and their life outside of the vocal? And
100%.
if that's the case, like where were your cobwebs in your body when you first began?
Hmm. Mm. I love that. Well, I've been singing since I was a kid. I was always doing theater in my youth. And so that, uh, yeah, that wanting to sound good, wanting to get a good part in the play, was always a big story. And so, re I feel like my cobwebs were like in my root and my crown. And it was like my voice is not for my voice was acting as a vehicle for me to get what I wanted, and redevoting my voice to God, redevoting my voice to the earth, and letting deeper and truer sounds and songs and stories to move through me than just what's commercially popular. And almost like re-indigenizing my expression to, yeah, just express a wider story. And that moves through me and has only served my commercial expression, my ability to paint with those colors in a Broadway audition and in a room where I need to show up really polished. It feels like I have this like spirit team with me there, and I'm not doing it alone anymore. And I do feel like I'm in a constant state of as much as I can remember, to commit and devote my voice to something bigger than me to move through. Um, and it's because it's what I feel like we need at this time. Like we've lost the sacred, the connection to the sacred as a mass collective. Like, and I just want to be a vessel for that, for remembrance, that we can remember that we're all here together on this beautiful earth and this precious life, and it's so much bigger than what modern culture has told us it is.
Mm. And it's of course you're in Hawaii because
Mm.
Keone Hanalei, he has taught me, and he's native Hawaiian, he has taught me that the greatest blessing for a soul is to be informed. Like, to be a human
Mm.
is such a gift. And that information moved through him. There is no latching, and how important it is to always be an authority of your own life and receive the information of those that inspire you or those that you connect with, but simultaneously not deem that the truth until you yourself feel in your body what the truth for you is. So in
Mm.
the essence of Keone's saying and allowing to move through that, to be human is the greatest gift, sure. But then I have lived through my life experience of how amazing senses are, and how amazing the contrast is, and how amazing allowing anything to touch the skin and for me to have feedback from that is the coolest experience ever.
Mm.
I've never been a human before, never will again, so like might as well bask in this, and
Mm.
yeah. And with the vocal, to be
Mm.
able to have the ability to feel the vibrational expression that you and only your form can create is such a mind game. Because you're like, whoa, that's big. Even in like the tiniest little hum, you're like, that I make that. This human makes that. Nobody can do that for me
Mm.
besides me.
Totally. And your voice will never sound the same twice. We're always either evolving and expanding, or evolving and aging, and your voice changes through your life. So this sound, this body, this moment is unique, and that's one of my favorite things about being human, and the forward movement of being a human is that it is ever changing, and that doesn't mean hold on, but it's enjoy, open your eyes to what is alive right now, and let it imprint beauty into your soul, into your being, and yeah, and then soak in the next one.
Like continuously being bathed by the self, and you're like, man, this is the best
Yes.
waters.
Yeah, but and even you mentioned contrast too. Like being human is also hard. Like it's also crunchy and hard and painful, and also knowing that those two will pass. So to, you know, look around in those moments too and soak those in fully and love those moments too. That's really helped me. It's not being like, oh god, I have to get back to the good one. It's like, wow, here I am feeling this really hard thing. This isn't going to be forever, so I'm going to just try to enjoy it even a little bit, like find the nugget of beauty in this pain.
And even if there is no nugget of beauty, which I've experienced before, of like I seek to try and then I can't find and now I feel worse, like may the
Mm.
body just hold the sensation. This is gonna
Mm.
pass. Like what's your ability to hold sensation in the body and deem yourself safe in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, Ava, does voice help you with that? Like
Oh yeah.
vocal, you can retune?
Oh my God. Like, girl, you should hear my home when I have bad period cramps going. I'm like, talk about some depth, like just, oh, like it's moving through my voice in such a powerful way. It's such an anchor for me. And I invite you, if you ever feel like a sensation feels too big for your body to hold, just see what sound wants to come out, and it can be psychedelic experience of just the sound being truly medicine. Yeah.
Cool experiment, super cool to
Yeah.
play with. And I
Yes.
also acknowledge that even for myself, if I'm in the room with others or in the house
Yeah.
with others, I have a
Yeah.
thing about me where I don't want people to witness me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
there may be individuals co-creating and listening and tuning into this conversation that they may be like, oh yeah, sure, but also like I don't have the environment to do so. And I honor that because
Mm.
I resonate with that. I'm like, I want to
Mm.
make this sound now, but I
Mm.
feel like I can't in this space. And maybe that's just something to move through, of arriving at a state of any age that is to make whatever noise I want to make regardless of who's in the room.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And yeah, there is a sensitivity of like your partner wants to have a nice quiet morning and
You
you
want to be like,
are
oh.
like, I need to moan and groan and sigh. And so finding, the ways to take care of yourself. I love my pillow right in my face, just singing and screaming and moaning into the pillow muffles the sound a little bit. It depends. It's a dance, but I do also encourage you and anyone listening, if it feels right, to say, "Hey, I need 20 minutes and I'm going to take this space." If you want to go on a walk, you want to go get a coffee somewhere, I would really feel supported by this. And just to plant your feet in your needs and speak those, I think is such a necessary tool, especially for the feminine, for us women who have, you know, spent a lot of our lives catering around, dancing around, pleasing around, to claim the center, reclaim the center of our
Mm.
lives. Yeah.
And to advocate for the self and the needs of the self, to deem the self
Yes.
safe constantly and constantly and constantly and constantly.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you for that
Mm.
nugget. Yes,
Yeah.
that's really exciting. I love the opportunities and the invitations to get like really uncomfortable. Yeah, it feels
Same.
good. I'm like, oh, this is my playground. Wow.
Hmm.
Ava, I'm wondering if there is any remaining nugget or thought or feeling or anything that you have on your heart or in your mind that you'd like to
Hmm.
share out and
Hmm.
contribute.
Hmm. Just gratitude. Thank you so much for creating this space, for inviting me on, and for creating a space for new culture and new ways to be expressed. I mean, the change in its heart, that song, more than the album, is really a prayer for these times that we're in, where where our old ways aren't necessarily serving us. And I feel like a lot of people are wondering how we can birth a new way forward and take better care of each other, take better care of the earth, take better care of ourselves, and, listen to spirit for what our role in this dance is. And I feel like conversations like this, it's never going to be one answer. You're never going to get it and then go, okay, now it's that, and now I don't need to think about it ever again. It's constantly evolving and growing, and it's the little moments, the little conversations, the little remembrances that compound and build. And so I feel like these moments, like, I just value so deeply, where we're like, okay, we're planting a little seed into somebody's heart, into somebody's soil somewhere, that I pray grows a beautiful fruit of a song, of a truth, of a expression, of a remembrance of somebody's power, of their voice, of their hearts. And yeah, just thank you for fostering the space to do that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're so very welcome. And for everyone co creating and tuning in, all the information will be down below to connect with Ava or to receive. So scroll, scroll, tap, tap, receive, give, give. You know how it goes. The reciprocity of love is really all it is. Thank you so much, Ava. And to everyone else, we're going to see you next episode. Chicka, 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 chicka.